Hi guys, just down in Townsville again, driving past my old mate's place, Dave Killalea, back in the doghouse, have a bit of a chat to Dave. Today we're going to talk to Dave about purpose building lures to suit a certain application, and what I couldn't think of a better person to ask this. Dave's lure fishing royalty in Australia, lure manufacturing especially. He's been doing it for a long time. Dave's now under the brand of Old Dog Lures. So Dave, mate, can you tell us about purpose building lures basically?
Well, that's probably the thing I like doing most, is making lures to perform. Like, I get blokes oftentimes come to me and say, can you build a lure to do this? I mean, when I first started out fishing the breakwater here in Townsville, I started out and made the 4-inch Killalure. Just to fish across the top of those rocks at the end of the western breakwater in Townsville.
And I think I caught quite a few barras on them myself around that same area.
Yeah, well, that was where that lure was made for. And then the next real success we had was the 3-inch barra bait. The guys in the territory wanted that for fishing the lagoons, and at the time the Nilsy Spearhead was the go. It was the gun lure.
I remember those days.
Yeah. And we built the 3-inch barra bait, and it did the job up there for a long time. And then Cole Cordingley, one day, him and I were fishing in the Daly River, and he said to me, can you do anything with this, the 6-inch Nilsy? And I said, well, what do you want me to do? Because they're a really good lure, the 6-inch Nilsies, but the bibs used to come out of them, like they were built fairly light. And he said, can you do anything with the bibs? So I made the 6-inch barra bait, but I made it specifically for him, and we got it to run at a certain depth he wanted it to do, and all that, and would tighten the action up and did all that sort of stuff, and it just went ballistic. But it was designed to do a specific job. Yeah.
Yep.
And then over the years we've made a few, like we made the Snarl, we made the Scale Razor, you know, the Flat Strap was another one. Terry Dunphy sort of started that off. It was made to do something similar to the Rapala Shad Wrap, but wanted to get it through the timber. Like Terry Dunphy and Steve Justin here had a lot of input into that lure, you know, and we made it so it would walk through the timber, and
which it did.
Yeah, like it was a really good lure. But anyway, recently Gavin Miles here in Townsville came to me and he said, can you get me a lure that will run at 40 feet? Because I want to we find a lure barras in the basin at Peter Faust. I want to get down to them. So we made him one that'll get down to 40 feet, which is the Dane, which is this one.
Wow, that's a monster.
She's a big sucker. And after that, obviously the progression was we want to run it in saltwater now, so they want to go chasing finger mark and mackerel and all that sort of stuff.
I can imagine that lure would be ideal for that 10 to 12 metre country out on the shoals, just off the coastal headlands and that, for gold spot cod, finger mark, bar cheek trout, all those sort of things.
Yeah, perfect for it, yeah. Like all those species have been caught on this lure.
Yeah.
And like we've been mucked around with it, and now we've got it running at 11 to 12 metres at 4.2 knots, which is, well, so 4.2 knots is fairly specific, but that's what a trolling mode in a big outboard runs at. Max is 4.2 knots. So.
Yep.
But yeah, it runs pretty good at that now, so we're happy with that. Next, we're moving up to 30 feet. So, I said, you don't want a 28.6 feet, but no, we're going to move up to 30 feet with them. That's what we're playing with now. We're mucking around with them here now.
And fast trolling is sometimes not such a bad thing, because I think sometimes I do it with the barras when they rise in the water a bit, because as it gets pulled past them, I believe that gives them less time to think when they see it go past. So they run it down and smash it. That's what I've found in the over some of my techniques we use.
It's like anything. You've got to mix it up. You know, if something you're doing's not working, then you've got to change it again. It's like golf clubs. If your driver's not working, well, then you've got to get a better one.
That's it. We'll get a better caddy, one or the
other. No, it is. I mean, you've got to match the hatch. You've got to get a lure that's sort of similar to size to the bait that they're feeding on, and at the depth they're working at. Like sometimes barras are really lazy and they won't. Well, you know, they don't rise 2 foot.
That's it.
It's got to be right there on their nose.
On their donk. Yeah. That's it, for sure.
To eat, so. But yeah, that's where I get off on, is by making lures that do what people want them to do.
Custom built. Yeah. Yeah, I love the Dane, mate. I can see myself trolling a few of them past some big barras this year, and taking them out to the shoals and giving them a run out there too.
While they're out there, give the poppers a go.
The poppers, mate,
they look. Thing we're mucking around with.
They're awesome, unbelievable.
Yeah, they're that's the next thing we're playing with.
I'll take some of them out to Eva Island because there's some absolute monster GTs there at the moment. They're swallowing a whole nanny guy on the way up, and they're 40 kilo fish, you know, they're just huge. Yeah. So look forward to giving them a run for sure.
We're making a batch of them now.
And I was looking at your construction of them before. I mean, they're pretty bulletproof.
Yeah, we try to. Like a lot of the guys now with popper fishing, they're using 80-pound braid and locked up drags and trying to get the fish out from the bommies and that. So they've got to be fairly rigid. What we're using is 1.6mm stainless steel wire.
Wow.
With a stainless steel collar. These ones here aren't drilled, but that wire fits through there. We put a coast lock snap in there.
Yep.
No, not coast. Yeah. Anyway, we put a swivel in there. Goes through. We put a stainless steel weight in the back of it, like that. These aren't drilled, obviously. They don't fit,
no.
But it fits in there like that.
Wow.
And we twist the wire up like that.
Yep.
And they ain't going nowhere, right?
Mate, they will counteract any GT in the ocean.
Yeah, and they're made out of hardwood. Like a lot of lures are made out of softwood. Obviously, they're people trying to get buoyancy and that, because you muck around and get the buoyancy right and angle it sits in the water right. Because if the angle's not right, when you're pulling, it's a bit choppy, they'll fall over. And you know, it's like GT fishing.
Oh, for sure, for sure.
And
they got a good cup on their face too. I reckon they'd push some pretty good bubble trails.
Yeah, that comes from someone else. Someone said to me, you know, like a lot of the commercial poppers these days have got a very shallow cup on it, and that's due, like the plastic ones, that's due to trying to get them out of an injection mould. Yeah, like you've got the relief you've got it.
Best thing about timber is you can do what you want, change what you want.
Yeah. You haven't got 50 grand tied up in a mould or something like that.
Yeah, for sure.
These days in China, a mould probably goes for 5 grand, but yeah, no, they're not hard to change and get to do what you want. I mean, we put a belly weight in them, do all sorts of things with them to keep them like that. We've got a belly weight in there, so when that sits in the water, it sits hook face down, like
face down. Yep.
And then your tail weight makes them sit at the right angle.
And that'd help when being retrieved at high speed. Then the back of it's not going to bounce out of the water too much. It's going to keep that cup down in the water, pushing those bubbles. Or if you're doing that
sweep, you know, with the rod tip, you just sweep it and pull it, and it pulls a big bubble trail, and then it comes up, and the hook's always hanging down, you know.
Okay, excellent.
Yeah, and he's sort of sitting with his bum a bit down. But, yeah, I mean, weights play a big part in all lures, where you do it and where you don't.
And they don't get much heavier duty than that, mate. Man, those big stainless pins, they must cost a packet to...
Yeah, they're not cheap.
No.
They're custom machines, so not cheap.
Well, thanks, Dave, for talking a bit about lure applications and showing us some of your new products. And for anyone interested, you can check out Dave's Facebook page, Old Dog Lures, or his website, www.olddoglures.com. Until next time, fish smarter.